New at 5, federal student loan changes as a result of the One Big Beautiful Bill will take effect on July 1st.
I owe a mortgage amount of student loans. Yep, that's how much I owe. And I have paid $165,356 towards this amount. But here's the thing. When I started, okay, I owed $96,000.
For decades, we were all fed the exact same non-negotiable script. Go to college, get the degree, secure your future. It was pitched as the ultimate golden ticket to the middle class. But for millions of young Americans today, that golden ticket didn't open the door to prosperity. It locked them into a financial trap. Now, let's be clear before the comments section explodes. The education itself isn't the scam. Learning, critical thinking, and advanced research are deeply valuable. The scam is the predatory, bloated financial ecosystem surrounding it.
TV5's James Felton gets answers on what some of the changes, like new limits on lending, mean for you.
We've got some for those that have already gone to college and taken out their loans, and we've got some new rules and regulations for those that are going to be going to college come the fall.
Changes to the federal student loan program taking effect July 1st. Loan expert Jack Wallace tells us high school graduates heading to college should consider a federal loan to fill any gaps left after their FAFSA, scholarships, and grants.
We have entered a broken market where the cost of entry has completely disconnected from the economic reality of the rewards, and an entire generation is paying the price, literally. To understand how we got here, we have to look at the math, because the numbers are genuinely terrifying. Higher education costs have vastly outpaced standard inflation, wages, and even healthcare over the last 40 years. If you look at the data for the current 2025 to 2026 school year, the average sticker price for an in-state public four-year university cites around $12,000. Sounds manageable, right? But that is a massive illusion. Once you add room, board, and campus fees, that actual cost jumps to over $21,000 a year. For a private nonprofit university, you're looking at an average of over $36,000 a year in net costs. Why is it so expensive? Because universities stopped acting like pure centers of learning and started acting like luxury resorts competing for enrollment. They built massive administrative networks and high-end campus amenities.
So again, I borrowed $96,000. I have paid $165,356.46, and I still owe $220,810.73. Let me explain to you how I got in this predicament. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I am a PA, and I make good money. I'm not going to lie. Unfortunately, that good money is still not enough to pay this, right? And so I worked for a nonprofit hospital for the first 2.5 years out of school. My plan was to work for that hospital for a decade and apply for public service loan forgiveness, okay? I even asked our HR department, does this qualify? And they said yes, and that numerous of my colleagues are also eligible, and they have filled out the paperwork and they are working towards loan forgiveness. But for some reason, when I applied and I filled out the paperwork online, on paper, I did it literally 8 times. That's not an exaggeration. I got denied 8 out of 8 times to even make payments towards the public service loan forgiveness grant. The Department of Education decided that me, and only me, at my entire hospital works for a for-profit hospital, but all of my coworkers, they work for a nonprofit hospital, despite us working for the same hospital. Now, I called the Department of Education numerous times, and I explained the scenario to them numerous times, and I, at one point, was on hold for 8 hours to talk to somebody, and then when I finally got a hold of them, they said, "There's a glitch, and I don't know how to help you." Cool, that's great, thank you. So after 2.5 years of making payments and stuff, and all of them not even being counted towards the PSLF, Public Service Loan Forgiveness, I thought, why am I working here? I don't even want to work here. I was only doing it for this reason. And so I'm going to leave. Something I also failed to mention is that since graduating, my loan has been in forbearance. I never put it in forbearance. In fact, I even signed up for the income-driven repayment plan. I signed up later for the SAVE plan. I kept submitting my income. I have submitted my taxes. My loan has been in forbearance, and I have been making these payments on my own because when your loan is in forbearance, you cannot sign up for automatic payments. You have to just keep dropping it on your own.
We highly recommend that students do that because the interest rates are very favorable.
Wallace says the Parent Plus loans will be more restricted on July 1st. Parents will no longer be able to borrow up to the total cost of attendance. Loans will be capped at $20,000 per student each academic year, with a $65,000 lifetime limit per dependent. Wallace tells us private loans might be a good alternative.
If we have family members that have good or excellent credit, the interest rates on private loans are going to be much more attractive.
Another new wrinkle taking effect July 1st is the Workforce Pell Grant program. Students will be able to receive Pell Grants for enrollment in high-quality short-term educational programs that prepare them for high-skill, high-wage, and in-demand jobs. The program is designed to help more people enter the workforce with little to no student debt.
There are going to be new options for paying with a grant, the Pell Grant, for those that don't want to go to a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree and want to get a certification.
Wallace also believes these changes will make institutions work harder to draw students to their campus.
The American consumer is going to be a better educated consumer as a result of these changes. I think the schools are going to have a little bit of discomfort because they're going to have to, they just said, oh, we're going to charge this and the federal government will pay for it. Well, that's stopping, and it's effective July 1st.
James Felton, WNEM, TV5.
As a result, non-tuition costs, literally just a place to sleep and eat, now account for over 50% of a student's annual budget. Even if you study hard and get grants to cover your classes, you are practically forced to take out massive loans just to exist on campus. So, what happens when a 17-year-old is told they must buy a product they can't afford and entry-level wages aren't high enough to cover it? The federal government and private lenders step in to help. They bridge the gap with easily accessible, virtually unlimited credit. The result is a debt engine that has ballooned to a staggering $1.87 trillion that is distributed across more than 42 million federal borrowers. To put that into perspective, Americans now owe more money in student loans than they do on their credit cards or auto loans. And if you think this is just a temporary hurdle for 20-somethings who just need to eat less avocado toast, think again. The data shows that the age group carrying the single largest chunk of student debt, nearly $600 billion, is actually people aged 35 to 49. This isn't a temporary milestone. It's a decades-long financial anchor. When you start your adult life tens of thousands of dollars in the negative, it creates a devastating economic domino effect. You aren't just missing out on pocket change, you are structurally blocked from building wealth.
Automatic payments. You have to just keep dropping it on your own. Again, I called the Department of Education and explained this to them, that I don't know why I'm in forbearance. I'm trying to make payments. I am making the payments. Get the forbearance status off of my loan so I can sign up for auto pay so I don't have to log in here and look at this number and have a panic attack every month. They said, we don't know why it's in forbearance and we can't get it out of forbearance. There's a glitch. That's also part of the reason you're not eligible for the public service loan forgiveness, because you're in forbearance. I graduated in 2022. I have been in forbearance status for 4 years and I can't get out of it. Now, my servicer is Mohila, which has been sued for doing this exact same thing to its borrowers. I am trying not to cry at this point. I am going to just be in debt forever because I have borrowed less than half of this amount. I have paid almost double what I even borrowed in the first place, and I owe so much money. I am running backwards at this point. I don't think I'm going to ever pay this off in my lifetime. And the Department of Education, Mohila, is literally making it so that I can't, no matter how hard I try. For those of you who say that you shouldn't borrow money or, whatever, if you can't pay it back, and you guys don't believe in loan forgiveness and whatever because we borrowed it, I'm telling you, I want to pay it back. I literally can't. I have paid it back and then some. I can't do this. And no matter what I do, I'm stuck. And I chose a career where I am a civil servant for the rest of my life. Does this mean I need to be punished like this? Also, if there's some kind of lawyer that knows anything about the whole Mohila lawsuit and can help me out with how to be involved in it and how to, put my name in for somebody who has been in this situation and literally can't get out of forbearance.
According to a Department of Education analysis, roughly 71% of college graduates with student debt report delaying or completely abandoning major life milestones like buying a home, getting married, or starting a family. Then there's the repayment paradox. Because of compound interest, millions of borrowers make regular payments for years, only to watch their total balance increase. It feels like running on a financial treadmill that's tilting upward. And finally, there's the underemployment trap. The college premium, the wage advantage graduates used to have over non-graduates, is shrinking. Millions of graduates find themselves underemployed, working bartending, retail, or administrative jobs that don't require a degree, yet they are saddled with the specialized debt required to get one. But the narrative is finally cracking. Gen Z and younger millennials are looking at this system with a massive amount of well-deserved skepticism. The culture is changing. Trade schools are seeing a massive surge. Community college certifications are being recognized for their actual utility. And major corporate and tech employers are actively scrubbing degree requirements from high-paying job listings, opting to hire based on actual skills instead of a piece of parchment. Higher education is facing an existential crisis, and honestly, it's about time. Until the cost of a degree aligns with the actual starting salary of a graduate, the traditional college route isn't a guaranteed investment. It's a systemic financial gamble. What do you think? Is a 4-year degree still worth it in 2026? Or is the system completely broken? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a like if this video brought you some value, and hit subscribe for more deep dives into the economics of everyday life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.